Hello, hello. How are we doing today? It's been a while. I hope everybody's had a happy Thanksgiving. If you're America, or if you're from America, or if not, I hope you've just had a really good week. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. I hope everybody's been doing well so far. I know I personally have eaten so much in the past few days, doing a Friendsgiving and a normal Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah. I want to get into a little bit of the meat and potatoes of today. Let's see. Oh, to get started, I want to talk about on today's agenda. We got vocal exercises and vocal warm ups and stuff like that. So let me get my handy dandy stuff at the ready, old meal. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. A pretty chill day for everybody, I'm pretty sure. Let's get a new thing up here so I can draw and talk to y'all. I love drawing and talking. So cool, so fun. God, there's so many dog hairs on my fucking desk. On my mat, rather. Let me just take a couple of my pills first because I've got gore. Please take your medication if you haven't and hydrate. Okie dokie. What do I want to go into? Hello, Captain Raz. Nice of you to stop by. I think it's this one. Oh, that's not what I want to show. Oopsies. Fucking fun. I'm such a good streamer. Where is it? There we go. I've been well. I hope you have been well as well. Well as well as well. Alrighty. So I don't know how to spell. So vocal exercises that a lot of people should be more in tune with when doing stuff like voice acting or trying to record things for a a longer or extended period of time. The first and most important one, in my opinion, um, are breath exercises. Because breath exercises are what is going to allow you to keep talking. Everything around your voice is centered in the amount of air that you have in your lungs and are able to produce so you can keep talking. And that goes into not only for acting, in case you need to hit higher certain ranges and stuff like that, and certain emotions, but it also goes into just like a casual talking because there's a lot of different ways that you can present yourself whenever you talk.
Like if you this is with the least amount of breath as possible while still trying to talk.
That's constricting your vocal cords and your throat by closing off the amount of air that you're able to produce. Versus the opposite end of the spectrum, where everything has so much breath to it, where it just sounds so airy. There's so much air and it's so like everything. It's bad to have too much in one direction. So there's good balance to have there. Breathing exercises. Um One that I can recommend that's very easy to do and can help get you on your right track sooner rather than later is a hiss. And what I mean by a hiss, what I shall demonstrate, is you will take your biggest breath that you can, and then you will try to go for 1 minute by just slowly hissing out the breath, which will sound something like. I don't know if it's picking it up or not. Actually, let me turn off my noise suppression just for like a little bit. Okay, so what I mean by a hiss is you'll take a deep breath as you can, and then you'll hiss out by pushing out the breath between your teeth, and it's like you're saying S a lot, and you're holding the end of the S, and you'll try to do that for about a minute, and it's okay if you have to like take extra breaths at first, but you'll take one huge breath in, and now breathe out for a minute. That was only for 30 seconds. So, like, not even my breath control is like all there. It's very much a learned skill that you have to train a lot more. But the more that you do that, the more breath that you'll have in your um, lungs to be able to actually like apply this skill to a lot of different things that you do. Um, it's not required to like reach up to a minute, but like it's like a goal to strive for of like, oh hey, I can hold my breath for this long and I can now do all of this. Thanks for the redeem of the first. um, but yeah, hissing is like a really good breath exercise that tests like how much capacity you have in your lungs and will also the more you do it, it's like working out a muscle. It will allow you to keep doing it over and over again and allow you to do more. Hi, Chai Lady. And hi, Cooper Seeper. Nice of y'all to stop by. Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can find some other like breath examples. Breath like exercises. Oh my goodness gracious. Hi, Deathwalker. Also, hi, Boba Fett. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so some other like breathing exercises is like breathing exercises are good for not only like expanding your lungs and showing you how much like more like air you can take in your lungs, but they're also just like really meditative. So, breathing in is a skill to learn, and breathing out is a skill to learn as well. I did not mean to pin that, but I will. Let me see. Unpin. I'm a proper and good streamer. Smile. So for breathing in, for example, breathing in, you want to try to learn to take in as much air as you can. And by that I mean like stretching it super thin so that way you know how much you can take in like over an extended period of time, and it also teaches you how to like breathe quicker because you don't want to go every time you're trying to like get in some extra air. So starting off with like a very slower breathing in method will help you like it'll help your body like kind of adjust to an amount of air that you can have currently, and will also help you expand the amount of air that you can get. So, what I mean by that is you'll try to breathe in as slowly as possible and for as long as possible. So, like taking in just such a small amount of air by like closing off like your mouth or even like your nose, as much as you can. And by that I mean like you're trying to just suck up something for an extended period of time. Like right there, I just like I held in so much air and I was able to get just so much off of me just like slowly doing it for a little bit. But I'm able to also go off of that one breath that I took for a lot longer than I would normally be able to go off of like a normal breath. Which can be really helpful for scenes with a lot of dialogue where you're going to be talking a lot. So it's really helpful to be able to just keep going without having to take a breath. And breathing is actually kind of an enemy in voice acting unless it's like required. And by that, I mean, you don't really want to have your breaths like show up on your recording because it can really like take the flow out of what you're trying to do. I can expand more on that in like another talk, uh, a a, a grown up talk rather, in the Discord. But it's also just really good for longevity and stuff like that. Also for like even just like video game sounds too. Like you don't want to have like a breath in there for the most part because most of the time whenever a video game line is being delivered, people will have it done on one breath. That way it doesn't feel like breathing it feels like pretty out of place, especially if it's just like a one-off text box, right? A character pops up and will be like, "Oh, hello, how are you doing today? Is there anything I can get for you?" Without a breath there, it sounds so much better, But if you're going into that and being like, hello, how are you? Is there anything that I can get for you? It's a very much over exaggeration, but it is like, it happens, right? A lot of people do it. Sometimes I do it in like a take, and I'm like, no, I need more breath here so I can like properly record this and have a better presentation here. So learning how to breathe and like get just doing a bunch of like simple breathing exercises will really help your output on not only like normal talking or anything like that, but it also help with like your acting, and it can even help with like it even helps a lot with like singing if people are really into singing. And for people out there, I know people. It also is really helpful for just like voice training in general, because breath is your best friend whenever you're doing any type of voice training or anything like that. Because the more breath that you have, the less strain that you're putting on yourself, and that's really helpful. I'll put that. More breath equals less strain. Because at the end of the day, that is where like our voices come from too. Because our voices are just big breaths with pitch, and depending on how much breath we have in it, will really determine how we can say something to somebody, and like how we come across too. Reminds you of breath exercises in marching band? Yeah, essentially. A lot of the breath exercises and stuff like that just come into a play. Especially if like you have to do like brass instruments where you're having to use your breath all the time, then yeah. Sorry if I got to that. I'm sorry if I addressed that rather late. But yeah, a good example of like how to of like how breath affects the voice is like, if I'm going to talk to you for a while and I'm starting to run out of breath, then I start to like crackle my voice a little bit, and it starts to sound more and more strained, and then like it gets quieter. It gets quieter. But with a lot of breath, I'm able to go as boisterous and stuff as I want to. And you know, I'm taking a little bit of an exaggeration there with that big old breath. Learning how to breathe silently is also a skill to master, I believe, because you don't want to be over exaggerated with it. You just want to try to take in as much breath as possible without trying to make a sound. So I'm going to like let go of all the breath in my lungs right now. And now I filled it up by not making a single sound. Being able to breathe silently is really helpful, especially for recordings. However, if you're just doing like a breath exercise, you don't have to worry about like how loud a breath is or anything like that. The only thing you really need to worry about, like for how loud you're breathing, is going to be if you're singing, or if you're recording something and it's going to be right there, or if you're even like doing like in-person acting. It also applies to like any like type of delivery, especially for like jokes and stuff. You want to make sure that you can. I'm not gonna go off on that tangent, but I mean for like comedians and like people who do like public speaking, you want to make sure that you have like enough breath so you can get your points across. You don't want to come off as somebody who doesn't know how to breathe, essentially. Because you can have something like, oh, today in this presentation, I am going to show you how to do all of this stuff. It makes you seem like having all those breaths makes you seem very nervous and everything like that. But if you do it on just one continuous breath before you get to like your next point or to a pause, then you'll be able to like come across as more confident and you know what you're doing. Like Hello, I'm Rosemary, and today I'm here to offer my presentation to you in the cabinet. Here is an example of what I'm going to do. If you would please shift your attention to the slide, I'm going to start my presentation now. In this presentation, I'm going to, having a proper pause there allows you to catch your breath, and then it also lets you come across as more prepared and everything like that, versus stammering for your breaths. All right, that's enough about breath. Let's get into range talk. Now, how can one expand their range when it comes to voice acting? Usually, like, your range can be a muscle, and like the more you work it out, the stronger it can be. And what I mean by working out your range is by testing its limits of going from the lowest to highest and vice versa. You want to go between the highest and the lowest pitch that you can to get your range properly evaluated for yourself, and will also help you start working out on it. It is something that you have to constantly work at because it is rather difficult, in my experience, to try and get new range, but to get more comfortable at the ranges that you can already get, this is like a perfect thing. That is not to say that you can't unlock a higher or lower range. I think that it is possible for people. I think it is just extremely hard, and it takes a lot more like effort and dedication to get there because you have to constantly be pushing yourself. But sometimes it just like cannot be possible with certain pitches. Like you might not be able to get like a full like octave deeper or something like that, but you might be able to get like different like half steps. And what I mean by octaves and half steps is like it's musical nomenclature, which translates into essentially like, okay, so this is a current octave that I'm sitting at, and then raising an octave
Would put me all the way up here. This is another octave that you can achieve.
and then I go back down to this octave, and then I go back down to a lower octave, and then I go back down to an even lower octave. It shows you the amount of range that you can have. And octaves are essentially just like big moves of like pitch that you are able to have. Octaves are like defined by like, I actually don't know what defines them. But to get the rosy definition, it's like a certain amount of pitches within a set that make up an entire octave. And then there's a bunch of different varying ones. And a good way to experiment with this range and stuff like that is to try to find the highest pitch that you can make, or the lowest pitch, and start from either, and then try to work your way to the opposite end. And what I mean by that is, let me turn off my noise suppression again. Oh, no, it's still off. Okay. You'll want to... you want to start all the way at the bottom. And then you want to slowly start making your way back up. And then as you go all the way up,
You want to go all the way up again.
and then you go all the way back down. And then you start making your way all the way back down. The more you do this, the easier it will be to get yourself into certain ranges. If you want to focus on higher pitches, then you could just start from like a middle range and then go to a higher range. So start from around here and then work yourself go back up and then go all the way back down to your middle range and then go back down and then go all the way back down. You just want to keep like working at it, but you also want to try to like elongate it as much as possible so that way you can kind of ease yourself into holding that pitch. Because even if I go up here, if I try to hold it for too long, then I get lost. Actually, I'm actually pretty comfortable in that range. I can't keep that up. But yeah, I hope I'm making some sense. You think of it as opera singing in pitch and tone? Yeah, kind of. Another exercise is like going all the way from your highest pitch to your lowest pitch in a slide motion. And the way that I go about this is I will go from my top and I will like it really helps. I don't know why. For me it really helps to like have my hand next to my head and then I will throw it up and then I'll just bring my hand back down with my pitch. And so in doing that I'll go like this. Woo! And obviously you want to try to like go you can go as loud as you should. I think going as loud as you can really helps you understand like how loud you can be with these sounds and stuff like that. I'm just trying to be somewhat more quiet because of people in my house. But yeah, doing that like a few times really helps you get all the way from your highest to your shortest or to your lowest in the quickest amount of time possible. There's also ways to do head voice for people who are trying to go into a higher pitch. Head voice is typically a higher and softer sounding sound.
So, like, up here is something more of a head voice. I am bringing all of the breath and stuff that I have all the way to my head. And is super breathy, is super light and soft, and is something that people can work out more the more that they do it.
The way to work that one out more is a what we call a lip trilb. A lip trilb. And what that means is like just taking your lips together and then just like making the brrr sound. I don't know how else to put it. So like just holding your lips together and then blowing air between them so it makes a bouncing sound like brrr. Yeah, and then you will do that and you'll just kind of do that on like a little bit of like a roller coaster is what I like to call it. And you can make imaginary pitches up. You don't have to like sit into certain pitches, but like try to go around to like the pitches that are like comfortable for you at first and then try to like make your way like upwards. And what I mean by that is so I'll start with something like that's like a set of like 6 notes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like 7. And then we'll go up a little bit more by just like slightly moving the pitch a little bit higher. And then you'll just want to keep doing this until you get to about like as high as you think you can get. And then you'll start making your way back down. So skipping a bunch, you'll be going like you see how I kind of lost it there for a little bit? I lost my pitch and stuff. That is like my absolute like limit for like how high I can go with something like that. And then now I'll make my way back down and skipping back down to like where a comfortable range is. And then skipping down and I'll just go all the way to my lowest or like try to go as far as I can down in like the low direction. It really helps like expand like how much you can do with this. But typically for head voice in particular, you just want to keep it around like the middle-ish range to like your higher ranges. But you can do this for like lower ranges too. It just doesn't like offer as much help as like certain other exercises can. It's also just a lot harder to go down and do it. I don't know why. um, yeah. Okay. Moving on to another exercise that I really like. I found recently is we'll move on to like something like chest voice. Um, and for chest voice is something that's right here in like the middle of your range where you are able to have the most volume control and be the loudest with your chest voice is something that will usually be encompassing your loudest voices, your casual talking voice, and I think it's just about it. Yeah. And if you want to make these like musical and stuff like that, you can combine these with like breathing exercises and stuff. But typically, I go with like the pitch of like moving up and down with like pitches and stuff like that. Um, and a good exercise for this is what I like to call the ah or r exercise, and we'll just start with like a normal open pitch like ah or r. You want to have like same like opening vowel as r or ah. So ah that one is it's a good vowel to have for it releases a lot of air, so it helps you get comfortable with releasing a lot of air, and will also help you like know your limits on like your normal speaking voice of like how high you can go before your voice switches over to your head voice. So an example of that would be like doing what we did earlier, but just like holding the note instead of like kind of just like ba 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 ba. Well, now we're gonna try it and just go ah. I hope that makes sense. Of like we're holding the note and we're just trying to move higher and lower while not like making it like punchy, I guess, because it sounds like ba 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 is like a punch. But if you are trying to just hold it and try to make it more melodic, it will sound like ah, and right there is kind of like my range is like where my cap is for my chest voice. So I'm gonna move down just a little bit. Moving up, moving up, moving up, moving up, and that's like my cap right there is like the top. You want to go into like your not able to like actually sing the notes or like it starts feeling uncomfortable, it starts feeling like a little scratchy because if I try to go even higher and now I'm like reaching into that head voice, I don't know if you can hear that like swap of like tonal pitch right there, but there's definitely a swap between up here and there and here and there. It's such an interesting little like crack. I don't know how to describe it more. I wish I did. Hey, Chi. Congrats on getting a new dog. Um, but once you find the, like that high range, then as all the other exercises that I've been showing, you want to go all the way down to your lowest. So we'll start back around the middle, and then we're gonna start moving down. So. Moving down, moving down, moving down, and right there is like where my voice starts frying and where I can't like go any further. typically these are like the main like techniques that I will usually use if I'm trying to warm up or do something like that. If I have a long script ahead of me, I'll do my breathing exercise where I'll hold in a big breath. And usually you can count yourself down and like you can see how much breath you can hold within a certain amount of time. And what I mean by that is like, do I want to try to breathe in for a 4 count or an 8 count? And then do I want to see how long I can hold it for each? So if we want to do it together, we could do, all right, let's breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like on that like small little count right there, you will breathe in all that time and get as much air as you can. So let's do it. Now we'll hiss. Oh my goodness. Be sure to drink plenty of water, by the way. Breathing exercises can be a little tough if you haven't done them before, so take as many breaks as you need to and drink as much water as you need to. Yeah, it's also a core exercise. They're just normal, like, breathing exercises in general. And then, like, if you wanted to try to go longer, you could do like an 8 count. So breathing in for 8. And now breathing out as long as you can. It's very hard to exercise, but will with practice and with repetition, it will allow you to start breathing more. And it's something that I do before I do my big like before I do like a big read or something, or if I have to do other noises. But yeah, and then like practicing like the holding in as much as you can and then breathing out while also trying to practice to breathe more silently and stuff like that. Adding all of these in together is fun. You remember breathing in for 1 count and exhaling for 1 count and almost hyperventilated? God, that sounds awful. Hi, Jess. Hi, Miss Jessica Rabbit. It's so nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Just going over some breathing exercises and stuff like that. How are you doing, sweetie? It has been a fat minute. I am doing well. We're just having a nice after Thanksgiving stream. Right, we need a girls' night, please. So true, we do need a girls' night. Too many stinky boys around. uh, so much to tell me. Oh my gosh, oh my god, there's so much tea. I'm excited. Alrighty. I think that's about as much as I can really stretch out this topic into. But main thing, practice makes perfect. So just keep practicing, and eventually you'll be able to expand your range and you'll be able to expand your breathing capacity, which will in turn help you with the amount of voices that you can do, will also prepare you for better roles, and will also help with your recordings and stuff like that. Now let's go back to here and just chill for a little bit. I hope everybody had a good like holiday break, by the way. Um I know I took like a week off from streaming and then it's been almost like I think like 15 days or not 15, like 13 days since I last streamed. So I wanted to make sure that people are just like having fun and that I'm not like trying to disappear or anything like that. I just have been really busy, especially with school and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope everybody's been doing well and that I hope that you're having a good week. Christmas is coming soon. I don't know if people want to do any like special thing for Christmas, but I think Christmas would be pretty cool and pretty fun. To maybe like do something. I also really want to get like some guest people on here and then I help them go through some like I kind of direct them while stuff happens. Oh, did you get an ad? Oh boy. But yeah. I want to get other people onto the stream, and if people are interested in like getting some direction, well, people are interested in getting some like direction for like their acting and stuff like that, I would be more than happy to help set up some stuff and like maybe on stream I could help people like and we can help them live and then we can just like offer a bunch of feedback and stuff like that. I think it'd be really fun to like direct somebody on here or even just like private sessions and stuff like that. I want to help people thrive. But yeah, sorry for a bit of a short-ish stream today. But that's pretty much all I got in me for today. I hope everybody has a very wonderful rest of your day and a good rest of your week. And I will probably be playing more video games in the future, so it's a little bit less stress on me. And don't worry, I have not forgot about ASMR stuff. More ASMR stuff is to come. I have like 5 different tabs of ASMR stuff that I can do. Um, so don't you worry. I've got big things planned. All right, everybody. Let us wrap it up. And you know what? Let's go raid somebody. Let us go raid somebody. We need to spread the joy, the joyous wonder and whimsy. Let me see here. Who can we raid? I don't think really anybody else is like really streaming right now. Ooh, Wishcapped. Actually, let's go raid her. We need to have a nice wholesome raid. The person I'm gonna go raid us to, she is a lovely VTuber and a lovely artist. I love her to death so much. She's so awesome and amazing in what she does. So everybody be nice. Let's go and give her a nice little bunny welcome. All right, let us go. We got this. I don't know what message. Just be nice. Just be nice and behave. And we're gonna go tell her good and nice things. She's so pretty. She's so cute.